how does my PC handle everything? Hello, slamming them. So that's how it's handling it. My zoom in button's not working. I have a button on my... Oh, I gotta restart the Stream Deck. There we go. That's my resources right now. Photoshop, 2 gigs. Brave browser is open right now. There's no streams running. I have a couple tabs open. Discord is running. I gotta have Discord open. The only reason I have it open right now streaming is so that it shows I'm streaming next to my name. OBS Studio is 2 gigs. At one point it was 3.5 gigs because I kept adding more things without checking the box to unload things from memory. And then Stream Deck. But anyways, it's a 2060 graphics card I got in 2020. And when I first started out, I had 16 gigs of RAM. But when I play Fortnite and stream, all of that together, I was using 18 gigs of RAM. So it was pushing beyond the 16 and I was overloaded. So I just ended up buying 64 gigs of RAM when I really only needed 32. But I got 64 gigs of RAM because I can run virtual machines. And now Fortnite and streaming and everything goes up to 18 gigs. Another thing that takes up a lot of memory is Premiere and After Effects. It'll take up as much memory as it can unless you turn it down, and it like really slows the computer down. But yeah, it seems to work out all right. I run Fortnite at low settings. Everything's on low, except for like the view distance. Now I've seen people run a 2060 and the same CPU that I have, and I'll see a YouTube video of them tweaking the settings and making it run higher quality. But then like I try that and it doesn't really work out for me. So without trying to mess around with that, I just dump everything down to low settings and not even bother with it. Well, I could tell you what I do is I set myself a budget, which when I built this one, I set a budget of $1,000, and then I just kind of like, I don't know, like you can kind of like look at a game you want to play and what's its recommended minimum requirements and what its maximum recommended requirements are for video cards and stuff, and just kind of like base it off that. Like, what's your most intense game you want to play, what type of games you want to play, and see what graphics cards and stuff that they recommend, and just kind of base it off that. But I was asking for help too with other friends. It's like, because I hadn't built one in like, I don't know how many years, 6 years. I do all the research, I dig in deep, and I make sure that like the motherboard has as many USB ports that I want. Like how many hard drives am I going to plug into it, all that kind of stuff. And you can get into detail where it's like, oh, if you plug in this, then this part of the board, this feature of the motherboard becomes disabled and you can't use it if you're using the other thing. And it's like that affects like the ability to plug in extra hard drives. Like I think that I have 4 hard drive plugs on the board, but 2 of them are disabled because I'm using something else on the system. So, but once I get all that done and then I build it, and then the brain gets wiped. I don't remember any of it. If you ask me, what do I have? What are my specs? I have to go look them up sometimes. But luckily, so I ran out of plugging everything in, like the stream decks and the microphone and the cameras and all that kind of stuff. I had no more plugs on the computer. And so I bought an expansion card. So I have 7 USB plugs on the back of my computer in addition to what came with it. But I also bought an expansion card to plug in my old hard drive. And I had to like do a little bit of research because what slots are available on my computer to plug in these expansion cards, and which one am I going to use for the hard drive, and which one am I going to use for the USBs, and all that kind of stuff. Because I was thinking about it in my head for like a month, like, am I going to be able to plug this in and still plug in the other thing? And all this, I don't know. Are you did you bought one that's already pre-built? And are you looking like you want to build your own next time? Like from scratch? Okay. Typical laptop. Yeah, when I graduated high school was when I got my first gaming computer. And then after that, every paycheck I was buying a new upgraded part. I was blowing every paycheck, living at home, getting a new graphics card, upgrading. And then that computer that I was gifted for graduation was junk parts and like didn't last. And I was already building a new one within 2 years and all this kind of stuff. But then eventually, my friend did some research and found a really good deal on a gaming laptop. And it was like more powerful than advertised. It had a better card in it than was advertised. It was like a fluke, and it was a good price. And so we both bought the same laptop and started playing games with that, going to each other's houses with the laptop. And then I moved 2 hours away to another state. And so I was a gaming laptop person because I was going back and forth a lot, running around. But then 6 years, like 6 years later, 2020, finally built the gaming laptop I had could no longer play the games that I used to be able to play on it. Like, it was just getting so burnt out and overheated, even though I replaced the thermal paste and all this kind of stuff. Just, I don't know. And so I ended up building with the goal of playing games and streaming during 2020. I bought parts, and like every week I'd research a new part, and the other part that I put in my list would be out of stock. So I was constantly juggling my shopping list with what was available and everybody buying parts all the time at home. So like this is what I bought as a new computer. The price, it looks like one of the items is missing the price, probably $150. It was around $1,000 total. But these prices have changed since then. It's been a while. So that was my parts list. And then now, if I were to I added in everything that I have. This is how much has expanded on it. These are all like the expansion cards, the Elgato Stream Deck, and all this kind of stuff I added in. Of course, I added in my monitor and keyboard and mouse, which I already had a monitor, I already had a keyboard and mouse, so that's why the original list is so short. It only includes the computer only. And so now it's like the total cost of my computer and all my streaming stuff, if you add it all up, 2,600 and I don't even use this, and I bought it on sale, the Elgato prompter. Like, I'm gonna make video tutorials. I'm gonna look at my camera and read a script. Yeah, that hasn't happened yet.